Welcome to Rich Baker and Friends. My name is Rich Baker, and my friend here is Mike Stone. Mike Stone is a really cool, awesome dude. We met. We haven't been friends that long. I think we met a couple of years ago or something like that. But we just found out we kind of think alike.
Yeah,
is that fair to say?
I would even go as far as to call us friends, but friends who've only hung out like a handful of times.
Which I feel is somewhat kind of common, especially LA.
Yeah, and that's a deep friendship in LA. You're right.
I mean, because you live in Santa Monica and I live in Los Feliz, and if you don't know LA, that's might as well be Hawaii and Alaska.
Unless, of course, there's some kind of like a viral pandemic that's taking all the traffic and making it magically disappear. Then, traveling between those, it's like the wormhole of LA has been opened, and you can just magically teleport to any place.
I have thought about, just because I miss the beach so much, just driving down and just staying away from everyone and just getting out of my car, just looking at it, from the street or something. And then
I thought about, just because I miss it so much, just getting in my car and driving to Silver Lake Ramen. That's Silver Lake Ramen, the most delicious ramen in Silver Lake.
Nice.
This is not a plug for Silver Lake Ramen. They did not pay me to be here.
I mean, I think by definition it is a plug. It's just not a paid or they're not in on it, but you are plugging them.
I think by definition, in the spirit of the word, you actually have to want to encourage people to go to that place.
You want to encourage people to go, don't you?
I was being so inauthentic at that moment that people might not be able to take it seriously and actually go there. But And the reason for that is because I have not been to the Silver Lake Ramen in Silver Lake. I've only been to the one in Santa Monica on the Promenade, which just opened a few months ago. So stop on by as soon as this Corona-apocalypse is over and get some delicious Silver Lake Ramen here in Santa Monica.
I thank you for bringing a sponsor to my show. My show feels a little more legitimate now that someone's they're talking to sponsor. I'm like, I'm moving up in the world. Okay.
That's like a non-consensual sponsorship that just happened to you.
A non-consensual on their part as well. They didn't authorize you to be their spokesperson. They're like, "Who are you, man?
I just
you need to chill out. You need to slow your roll,
that's how
bro."
I do all my deals. That's how I do my deals. It's like you go up to the one guy and you be like, "Hey, you got $1 billion? You want to sponsor this project?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know. I don't. Do you have any credentials?" And you'd be like, "Yeah, Bill Gates wants to do this project." And then the guy was like, "Okay, sign me up." And then that guy was like Branson. What's Branson's first name? Charles?
Richard.
No. Richard Branson. I confused him with Charles Manson. My bad. And then, so instead you have to bring them both in. And so then you go to Bill Gates and you're like, "Hey, Richard Branson wants in on this project. You in?" And he's like, "Well, if Richard Branson's in, then I'm in." And then you got Richard Branson and Bill Gates working for you. That's what I just did with Silver Lake Ramen on the 3rd Street Promenade in Santa Monica. And you.
Can I reveal to you an anecdote that it's nothing to be proud of, but I mean, it was a wholly different me. So I have also zero shame associated with it. It's just like a dispassionate story at this point, but it's kind of a good one.
Please tell it as dispassionately as possible. I would appreciate that.
All right. When I was 16, I was in a computer science class. It was an advanced placement class, my junior year of high school. Okay, it's going to get old.
No, that was awesome. I actually want you to keep going. I was like...
You want to keep going? Okay. If you find it interesting.
I was like, can I just be your audience during this
Sure.
this story?
Sure.
I'm just your audience. I'm not on the show right now.
Copy that. And we'll keep the voice that was in Stephen Hawking's box, that voice. I was in a computer science class, and there were 2 parts to the class. One was writing programs. The other was filling out question and answer worksheets. I would fill out the question and answer worksheets in exchange for a different person in the class to make a program, because I did not understand programming language. So then we would swap, and it was good until I got greedy. And then I started telling someone else that I would give them the program code if they would fill out the worksheet. And they said, okay. And then those 2 kids wound up talking. And then I was cut out of the puzzle.
The middle man was cut out of the equation.
Actually, I think I did talk my way in. I think they were like cool and let me because like I helped them find each other, so I was like a broker. But like at first, I was like, I
That's what
thought
I
I was
thought you were. I
caught.
thought you were going to say you brokered a deal, so it was like a
I mean,
fake
I did
person.
broker a deal, and like, but there was a worry where they were like, why should we give this stuff to you? And I was like, cause what's up? You know, like, come on.
What grade did you say this was in?
Junior year,
Of college?
high school.
Okay, yeah. Because dude, I kind of remember doing stuff like that. I majored in computer
Of course
science,
you
and
did.
I was like, but I was like one of the less good programmers. Hey, boss, if you're watching this, I'm pretty good now.
He got
Uh,
good. He got good. That
I
boy
got
good.
good.
Yeah.
But at the time, I do remember being kind of like one of those, like, hey, you get like you got an answer to like this. Like halfway through the semester, the problems got so hard, and it was like I wasn't used to their system too. They used like Unix, a Unix system. You had to like log in. It was all text based, and it was like, yeah, it was so damn hard that I like people would be like sharing answers even though you weren't really supposed to. Everyone was supposed to write their own program. But I feel like this is me coming out about the fact that I cheated in college
Oh,
on
okay.
yeah.
So you
I've
one up me. I said I cheated in high school, and you went. I got college.
I'm one upping you. It's a computer programmers thing. That's the off by one bug that we know and love so much. So yeah, I cheated in college. I was over 18. Is that a felony? I mean,
It's not.
cheating.
I don't think it's against the law,
Cheating.
actually.
I don't know. Just we were comparing. Communication skills are an important part of problem solving. Am I right?
Very important part of problem solving.
You got it. You got it.
You want to communicate and be communicated with. You know, it's a
Yeah.
two-way street.
Did Bill Gates write Microsoft DOS himself? No, he brokered it. He brokered the deal.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he didn't write that shit. He bought it for $50,000, and he turned it into an empire.
But he is a coder, right?
But he is a coder. Yes.
Yeah, he's
Bill
not
Gates,
just like
if you're watching,
yeah.
we
'Cause
know you know.
I have a lot of
We know
respect.
you know Fortran.
Did you watch the Bill Gates docu-series on Netflix?
Yeah, I think I did. The one where he's solving problems around the world,
Yep.
like cleaning that water from shit.
So I guess I haven't even explained what this episode's about, and we're almost 12 minutes in.
Oh yeah. What the hell is this?
So this is the longest intro ever. We're doing it already, so that's why I didn't stop us, because I just wanted to put some formality to it, but there's no reason, because we were literally doing exactly what I was proposing, was the format of the show to be something that I would like to call the Diderot. And I told you this earlier. Do you have any idea what that is?
We were on the phone earlier when we decided we should do this, and he said, I want to tell you that my idea for this show, I'm going to tell you on the show that my idea is the Diderot.
Yeah.
But I'm going to explain to you on the show. And I was like, oh, that's a really great idea. But unfortunately, now I'm going to be thinking about it in the meantime.
And why is that unfortunate that you would be thinking about it?
Well, because I like the idea of coming in here like, a blank slate,
a tabula
or whatever.
rasa. Okay, so
tabula rasa, a carte blanche. But since that is no longer an option, I will tell you that I kind of just like forgot about it in the meantime. Like
so same effect. Same effect.
So here I am wondering, Rich, what does that mean? Why is it called the Diderot?
Okay, this is going to be nerdy even for my standards. So I'm just throwing that out there.
And that's where I come in.
I told this story about high school, and I didn't cheat much in high school. It's pretty rare, but that was like one of only 2 classes that I remember ever like cheating. But I did do it. But in college, I didn't, because I actually learned how to love learning in college. Like I had a lot of good professors, and so things were sticking to my brain all the time, because I was like, I've never heard of this. This is amazing. And it was the difference between the black and white version of Kansas and the in Technicolor version of Oz, where I was just like, wow, right?
Whoa, colors.
And
wow, that's a really cool mental metaphor to go through. Have I still not gone through that? Or did I go through it as a young boy? I don't remember ever having a change like that.
My favorite class that did not have anything to do with my major was a class called History of Western Thought. It was a survey history course of philosophy, taught by 3 professors that rotated. They were all like teachers of the class, and they all came with the syllabus, but they would take turns lecturing. And
was it like they were on a 3-prong rotisserie, and like one would come in front of you, and you'd be like,
exactly, and they get really, really warm. One of them was like a 74-year-old dude who was like had been published in every history journal. And he was like the school's darling boy of like a lot of the awards he got, they got to reflect on, right? So I got that guy like a year before he retired. Then there was a dude who was like, he was just a real smart guy. His name was Professor Edwards, I remember for some reason, but he was a philosopher and he loved philosophy, right? Like that was his thing. And he was like so cool about it and just like loved it. And then there was another guy, I don't remember him, but one of the things that they had us read, they were a reading list that was off the wall compared to what I'd heard of, even thought of. It was a book by Denis Diderot. And I believe, if I remember correctly, this is a long time ago, but I read it, but he's a French guy who his claim to fame was he was the first guy to put together a dictionary. And this book was the only thing that he wrote. I mean, he wrote the dictionary, you know, but like this is like a book that he wrote. And if I remember correctly, there were two characters and it was just a conversation. There was literally like less than a page worth of action, and it was almost all conversation, and it just kind of went all over the place. It would just kind of go into philosophy and then somehow got into chess and then, you know, went over to religion and then the oceans and then the stars and then just boom, 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 and it just went everywhere. And I just remembered really like gravitating towards that book. I kind of want to reread it now that I'm talking about it. But the way you and I talk, which is, I think, kind of marks a really good rapport that a lot of humans can have with each other, is that we just tangent, like the ball is always in the air.
Yeah, that's true. Some looking at us from the outside might say, "Gosh, these guys have short attention spans," but I don't think that's all it is.
I mean, that's not wrong. It's not wrong.
It's not totally wrong.
But it's not the whole story.
It's not the whole story. Yeah, there's more to us than just that.
I was going to get a suggestion, but who cares? I'm going to pose a question to you, and we're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep flowing.
Okay.
When I was a kid,
we get a question from the. I'm sorry, just as an interruption. If we wanted to, we could get a suggestion from the audience here somehow. Or this is being recorded,
this isn't live, so we have to get on Facebook, and I'm like,
I knew that.
Who cares? Oh, no, you're fine. This
really
is being recorded, but it's not live. So, so when I was a kid, I loved Robin Williams.
Me too.
And I really felt like he was the only person in Hollywood that I felt like I kind of was. It's not like anything comedy, but like that he was like, oh, that's my brand of just like wild, zany, over the top kind of thing.
Yeah.
Did you have any kind of feeling of identity with Robin Williams?
Well, that's a really good question, because it's funny. He's always been one of my idols. Mm-hmm. And I think like the quintessential thing for me is like the genie of the lamp in Aladdin.
Yeah.
I guess that's our generation of Robin Williams, is like the sweet spot. But just like that jumping in and out of characters, and like my really early childhood comedy idol was also Groucho Marx, and how like Robin Williams does that Groucho Marx within the genie character. Like I just remember loving that so much.
Yeah.
And then he goes out.
How the elephant got in there, I'll never know.
How he got in there, I'll never know. He was just kind of like this awesome, cool guy. And then I think I saw what's it called? The Vietnam. Good Morning Vietnam.
Good Morning Vietnam. That's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah. Me too. Although I've only seen it once, and it was probably sometime in college when I was like getting into film, and I like sought it out. And I remember thinking it was like great. But I don't remember thinking like I could do what he does for whatever. I don't know. Like he was so good with like those vocal impressions and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know if I like projected myself directly towards him. But I love the guy.
I love the guy too. And the sweet spot for me really was Mrs. Doubtfire. I probably watched that movie 1,000 times. Like that was just an opus to comedy, and I think it holds up, and I think it's still one of the best. Good Morning Vietnam would also make that list 100%. And I think Aladdin's going to be in its own right for a kids movie of all time, musical, all that. But I think isolating his performance is worthy of just for the genie.
So here's another thing that this would explain why my brain may have somewhat filtered the significance of Mrs. Doubtfire. I feel like, so I grew up in like a Catholic household. My mom's Catholic, my dad's Jewish, but he's not religious. You can be half Jewish. Fight me. Okay, no,
Fine.
that's for our
It's
audience.
fine. It's
That's for our
fine.
audience.
There's nothing wrong with this. Everything's okay. You're doing fine, Sean. Just keep going with your thoughts.
Thank you. But what was I saying?
Robin Williams, Mrs.
Yeah,
Doubtfire,
Robin Williams.
Catholic.
So growing up in this Catholic household, like my mom really severely censored like what we could watch
Sure.
and like what we could talk about. Like anything that was at all like sexual was like so taboo.
Oh, wow.
And even like Mrs. Doubtfire was like cross dressing, right? Like not even really sexual cross dressing, but like
Sure.
I think I don't think I was even allowed to watch it when it like probably first came out. I probably watched it like I sought it out when I went off and lived on my own in college and I could watch
Right,
anything.
yeah.
Of course I had to watch Basic Instinct, which I'd
Sure.
never seen at home, and Mrs. Doubtfire. My mom wouldn't let us watch Look Who's Talking either, or Look Who's Talking Too. And I've
You're
still
adult.
never seen either of those movies to this day.
You're fine.
I know. I'm fine.
You didn't
I may
miss
have been,
much.
I may have been
Yeah.
somewhat sexually repressed as a youth, is what I'm trying to say. So
Oh,
I'm just
yeah.
saying, like, what I remember when Mrs. Doubtfire, I remember watching it and having this feeling of like vague uncomfortableness. Like, am I like, is this supposed to be topic material for an adult, and I'm not an adult, or something like that?
Sure.
Like feeling
Yeah.
like the themes were too mature for me at the age when I watched the film.
Yeah, he's like, fighting for his kids and a divorce, and I mean, it gets a little adulty,
Yeah.
heavy,
Hey, it's a little adulty for the age I think I saw.
I
it.
was so you and I are a lot alike right now, but it's interesting. I don't know that we were necessarily a lot alike as kids because for me, I was an old soul. Like when in some ways, in other ways, I was super immature. But with entertainment, I was an old soul. I love Steel Magnolias. I probably watched that thing 100 times. Like I loved,
nice.
I loved movies that kind of were a little more, that were not less kid themed. Like I like kids movies. I watched all the kids movies, and I was a big fan of some of them too. I'm just a fan of movies.
Are we talking about like what age are we talking about here? Like junior high?
I remember watching Tootsie when I was 7.
Totally in the same category. When you were 7?
Yeah.
Oh wow. But maybe Tootsie has like a level at which like a younger child could appreciate it more or something. Do you remember appreciating it on a different level later, or?
I mean, I
or
remember
like
not understanding really what cross-dressing was. To me, it was just a gag. Like, oh, that's funny, and he's actually fooling them. Like, I didn't I didn't really care about that. I've always, even as a young child, I watched the performances, and I'm like, how is he pulling that off? And I mean, and I'm just kind of absorbing the just the talent that's from the filmmakers.
Yeah. And that's how I started to get like that, like the last couple of years in high school. In fact, I was like in the AV, like filmmakers club in high school.
Wow.
I was like, I want to be like a filmmaker.
We didn't have one of those.
Yeah, but I remember you and me, you also made like little films when you were really young, right? Like in junior high, that was one of the things
I made
connected on.
I made one film when I was in 6th grade, and then the next film I made when I was a freshman in college.
Okay. Well,
but I did put on little plays. But I made one film, and I like edited it and like directed it. I mean, it is what it is, but I put effort into it.
No, I'm talking about the same level of like silly. Like my friend and I would make like these little G.I. Joe movies in his basement type of.
Yeah,
thing.
see,
like,
I missed out on that, and I wish I had like a friend that I could have done, because I think Steven Spielberg, when he was a kid, always had a camera in his hand. Like he was just making movies all the time, and I didn't really understand that was a thing I could do. Even though we had a camcorder, but I didn't think like I could use it, and then I could, like that seemed overwhelming to me. So like I'm jealous that you had that experience as a kid.
Well, it was a good experience, and I wish that Billy was my partner in crime in all those movies. I wish we had like been geographically closer in ensuing years, because maybe we would have continued doing some of that goofy shit. I think Billy got more mature. Faster too. Like he moved on to like more adult like topics, and I was like, I want to blow shit up in the basement.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So we were talking about like the taste of movies as a kid. I liked all those movies even as a kid, but as an adult, I still like all those. Like even the kids' movies, I love a lot as like a 38-year-old guy. My tastes
Yeah.
have always been broad,
Broad. Yeah.
and I just, yeah.
Yeah. No, in a way I am too. Like I honestly do think like my parents like really did this whole censoring thing. So it's like I just like didn't have practice watching like adult themed movies until I was like much older. And
Yeah.
actually in a way that's like something I resent about my parents. I was like, why did it was like so sheltered. I was like, I like real
Okay.
stuff like so much more than like sugar coated stuff
Yeah.
that they would show kids. Like my parents would let us watch like, I don't know, a couple of sitcoms or something.
Maybe like the
Like Full
Huxtables or
House. Like
something.
I guess Full
Okay, yeah,
House was
Full
like
House, yeah.
sort of. I guess they dealt with some adult. Like I could understand Full House. It wasn't like I was some kind of like
They played to the widest audience. They were an all ages
Yeah.
show.
But like Billy's parents, his parents were more like, oh, encourage our kids to do like the arts and stuff. And like I remember Billy's mom introduced me like the first time I watched like The Godfather. Was maybe I was like, I think we were in high school still. And I remember I loved The Godfather.
Yeah.
I saw
I remember the first time I watched The Godfather, I was like, whoa.
yeah.
I was like,
so
this
intense.
guy's like, he probably was inspired by Tarantino. You know?
Right?
This guy's good, man. He's going places.
Yeah, he should like start a winery up while he's at it too. I mean, this guy can do anything.
Do anything, man. His nephew should probably be Nick Cage.
Probably should. Remember Snake Eyes? Remember that movie Snake Eyes with Nick Cage?
Yeah, a little
That
bit.
was like maybe the first Nick Cage movie I saw. Oh no, I saw the one where he's like on a plane, Con Air.
Con Air was my yeah.
Put the bunny in the box.
Yeah.
In the basket.
Is it box or basket? I don't know. I can't remember.
Put the bunny in the basket. Yeah, it could be basket, could be box.
No, I think I
remember.
You know,
something.
you put the lotion in the basket, put the bunny in the box.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs. Now here's
Silence of the Lambs.
So we had totally different childhoods as far as that's concerned. Because my mom's pretty overprotective when it was like keeping me safe, which rightfully so. I was a super sickly child. But when it came to censoring what I watched, there was almost none. And we had HBO in every room of the house, including mine.
Oh damn.
So like I was watching Tales from the Crypt when I was 4.
Oh man, Tales from the Crypt was some good shit that I could only watch when I was at Billy's house.
Yeah. And like Ren and Stimpy and The Simpsons, like a lot of my friends couldn't watch that.
I couldn't watch The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I mean, I
watched every one of them over and over and over.
Yeah. I loved The Simpsons, and it was such a rare treat because I had to like smuggle my doses.
Yeah. It's hard to even remember like what it was like to be restricted in what we in view and anyway, right? Because like we've been adults for a while.
Do you mind if I drink a little wine while we're talking?
I certainly don't, and you already have been, so you're good.
Okay, this is a nice Chianti from Toscana.
We just literally talked about Silence of the Lambs, and you're drinking a Chianti?
I'm drinking a nice Chianti. Do you have any fava beans available?
Wow.
I should have actually triggered this as soon as you said that the first time. I didn't.
That's amazing.
You brought in the...
I've never... Okay, this is a moment for me because I, to my knowledge, have never seen a Chianti bottle, and I've certainly never seen it written out. Centine? No, I did not. No,
that's the brand. That's the brand Centine. I think. It says. Is this not a Chianti? I just assumed you spelled it was like a CHI or something. Oh yeah, it's a Tuscan red blend. It's funny because I saw Toscana and I'm familiar.
Oh, it's not a Chianti.
It's not a Chianti. False alarm. Chianti false alarm.
Abort the coincidence. There is no coincidence anymore. We had a false alarm on the coincidence.
Coincidence abort. But in coincidentality, I thought I was drinking a Chianti this entire night.
That's hilarious.
So, like from my mind's point of view, if you hadn't started spelling it out, I might have not even noticed.
How the fuck do you spell Chianti? That doesn't make any sense.
It is spelled in a way that you might not think if you hadn't studied Italian.
I have not, and I'm not really. I don't drink very much. I only started drinking wine a couple of years ago.
Well, what do you normally pair with your pastas, roasts, grilled meats, and aged cheeses?
Bruh. I'm going to tell you at least 4 things wrong with what you just said.
Oh, that's right. You're a vegan, aren't you?
I'm a vegan who doesn't cook. So like everything I eat is like in a can or a box.
Hey, a vegan who doesn't cook can still enjoy some delicious aged. Substitute the word cheeses with vegan cheese substitute.
I've had some vegan cheese recently that is bananas, bro. It's some good stuff. I miss
It's
cheese
literally
so
made out of
bad.
bananas.
I miss cheese so
Oh
bad.
man,
But
I can
it
tell I'm
rips me up.
like a thing of Swiss cheese. I can tell
Yeah,
I can tell I'm looking at a man who misses cheese.
I do miss the cheese. Like I've
Look at that
known I've been
cheese
lactose
missing man.
intolerant since I was like 18, but I didn't used to care. I would feel terrible all the
So
time.
you were lactose intolerant and ignorant, but now you wised up. You've embraced not an ignorant person, but someone ignorant to his lactose intolerance. Sorry, that was a stretch.
No, I hear you. Yeah, but yeah, I've been lactose intolerant since birth. But in the early '80s, they weren't talking about that. No one, the doctors weren't talking to each other. Here's an interesting thing, and I know you like futurist stuff a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So, have you heard about this idea that every doctor who's ever lived, no matter how good they were, they could only be as good as a human, meaning they could only track their own experience in real time. Whereas an AI doctor or a network of AI doctors that are uploading new code as they're learning new lessons to each other all over the globe. So that way, like, things are going to get diagnosed a lot faster.
Yeah.
And more
It's like
accurately.
having access to a rock star doctor, every single person in the world, maybe
Yeah.
even beyond a rock star doctor.
Well, yeah. And I think we've seen this before in history, right? Because like a word processor, if you type up something, it'll tell you how to spell it. It'll offer you different ways to word it. It basically, you can even say it, and it's a secretary. We used to have a human do that, and then a machine went, there's no reason to have a human do this. And that could be the same way with certain things. I don't know. I am kind of obsessed with future stuff.
Like AI is getting smarter and smarter, right? I was like just reading a book about AI.
It is, but yeah.
That what's it called? Life 3.0.
No.
Check out that book, Life 3.0. It's like I'm reading it now. It's about how AI is going to change the future, and it's like sort of speculative because they don't really know how AI is going to change the future. Maybe some kind of a virus will come along and just like end our civilization before we can get there.
All right. That's about enough out of you, sir.
Sorry, I've been triggering some of Rich's paranoia tonight, and I'm sorry. Not sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine. It's on me to be healthy enough to not be triggered by it. Yeah, I guess
fight you if you want a physical fight. It'll sometimes help with fight. Take this anxiety.
So I don't have any good lighting. I didn't prepare for this, and I'm not going to go out and buy lights now. So when I do these at night, during the day, the residual sunlight kind of makes it.
Wait, you're saying it's at night where you are?
Yes, I'm saying that. You douche nozzle.
I had you for a second.
What a douche nozzle. But the lights, they whiten me. I'm so white, and they whiten me out even more, and I'm kind of like a ghost.
We prefer the term shiny.
Shiny. Yeah, but like, you look kind of tan right now.
I look like I got a sick tan. I don't know. I think I got different color temperature lights or something. It's bouncing off a brown wall and hitting my face. So it's like a tanning light.
Bouncing off a brown wall.
Bouncing off a brown wall.
You just showed the spot where you and I both performed karaoke on New Year's Eve.
That's right. Karaoke.
Is the karaoke machine still there? It's right there.
Light. The karaoke thing is there. Is the bottle of bleach. You never know when you need to do some bleaching.
I'll be bleaching.
We could sing a duet on this thing potentially. Look at that! I got a halo.
We could. We could try. The delay
I'm
would
not
be.
Feeling it. I'm not feeling that either. Let's keep talking.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
We'll do that another time. I hear talk of maybe I'll get re-invited on the show.
It's my show. I can kind of do whatever I want.
You signed that contract with me earlier saying I'd be on at least 10 episodes this year. We
You
all
sign
saw
a
it.
contract? I'd love to have you for dinner.
There you go, being all anti-Semitic again. That Jews do not sound like that, okay? Jews do not sound like that.
I am Jewish. Yeah.
Give me the money. Give me the money.
Did you see the Dracula series that came out a couple months ago on Netflix?
No, I
Do
did
you
not.
like?
Was
Do
that
you
a
like
reference to
Dracula?
that?
Do you like the kind of horror stuff?
Yeah, I can do some Dracula. My
It's a
favorite Dracula movie is From Dusk Till Dawn.
it's a good one. It's a good one.
Does that count?
It absolutely counts. Any vampire movie counts. But there's 3 episodes, and they're basically movie length. It's done. Did you watch Sherlock, the BBC Sherlock?
The one with that tall, weird-looking guy?
Cumberbatch, Benedict
Yeah.
Cumberbatch. Yeah.
That's the guy. I saw a couple episodes here and there. I never got like pulled into it.
Well, it might not be your jam, but
that was pre-binging for me.
they were these fools that did Dracula were the same guys that did Holmes, Sherlock.
So they
Whatever
have
it was
good writing.
It was great writing. And yeah, if you like
Good
that writing,
good writing.
good writing.
Yes,
It's very good writing.
It's very good writing. My name is Zangief.
Zangief. I used to be a street fighter. But then I found my true calling in life.
Yes.
Smoking vampire.
And I'm actually vampire translator. I bilingual, so I drink the own egg and I convert it to the AB pass.
It's not a bad gig.
It's not a bad gig.
As far as gigs go.
As far as gigs go, it's not bad.
I don't mind not being a star anymore.
And they still let me wear the outfit. I still wear the red with the rips and the lightning bolts.
I mean, if you have this body, you would always wear this singlet.
Why wouldn't you wear this to work? You sounded like
that was a conversation between a future Zangief and a future Zangief, who were basically the same Zangiefs. We just improvised a Zangief on Zangief scene. Didn't see that one coming. Well, that's what I love about how we flow, and it's very much, like good improvisers do. Like, this is reminiscent of how I flow when I'm with Roland or with a Mission Problem person on a stage. It's just you don't care where you're going; you're just enjoying the ride, and so you wind up in a place. You're like, "What? This doesn't make any. Where do we get? How do we get here?" But it makes total sense. It's just because in the way that you just tap into the flow.
Yeah, I love that. I want to do more of this.
Yeah,
I learn how to do it when I'm not high.
There's an exercise that I've taught a handful of times, and I've done it a handful of times. Well, not a handful, a few hundred.
What you have to do is climb this mountain, and for 1 year, you don't smoke any weed, and you practice improv with a master.
I got a faster way for you.
Okay, nice, good. I'm looking for shortcuts.
Aren't we all?
In all the wrong places.
I don't know if it would work on this medium because you can't make eye contact. Because if I look in your eye, you're looking in my eye, but
I can either look
looking
at
the camera,
or at you, or at me. But I'm
right,
over there.
yeah. So I'm looking in your eye right now.
Let's both look at the camera for a second, just for our audience. This is what it would look like. It looks like we're looking at each other right now, but we actually can't. We're not looking into each other's eyes. I'm just looking at a little green dot.
Yeah, I don't love performing to that little green dot, but I mean it's the job, so you got to do it. I learned how. I'm good at it, and I teach people how to do it. But it's not my favorite. Hey, green dot, I'm gonna give you all this emotion.
Okay, eyes over here. Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay,
I'm up here.
Parallel.
Okay, I'm up here. Okay.
Hello, right here.
So, thank you finally for looking at me. I hope that when it records it, we're in the same configuration. Otherwise, it will look like idiots.
It's basically a screen grab.
So what I see, you see. It's not possible that you see the opposite of what I see?
It is possible that I see the opposite. So when you see the recording, it may not, it may be, I mean, we don't know. I don't know.
But from my point of view, it did look like we were facing each other right there when we did that.
Oh, absolutely. Me too.
Well, that implies that we are, in fact, in the same configuration.
I guess.
I mean, pretty good chance.
I guess. I don't know. I'm no mathematologist.
I'm no mathematologist, but it just occurred to me that there's a pretty good chance this thing's going to work just the way we think it will.
I like that plan. I like making my hands like my elbows out, so it looks like I've got very tiny arms that are mostly the arm is mostly hand. There's very
Yep.
little arm involved. It's just a lot of hands.
The arm is mostly. Oh yeah, now it looks like we have these giant hand arms. Hey, give me that giant Coca-Cola.
Oh, that's one thing we can do. We can give each other challenges. So, like, while we're talking, we have to maintain a physical or a voice or something like that.
I like that idea. For a second there, I thought you were going to say we have to give each other virtual virtual hand jobs, and I was like, whoa,
I was
whoa!
not saying that.
I didn't know what I was getting into. How come you have two of these dicks? Whoa! You got a V. You got to split a flying V dick. That's
So here's what's funny about that you don't know yet.
Okay.
Every person I've had on, and I mean my friends who are fine cursing around me and me cursing around them, they get on the show and
two dicks.
Literally every one of them has like started to curse and said, "Oh, can I curse on this?" Like on while we're live, and I'm always like, "Yeah, you can say whatever you want." And I love that you didn't ask. You were just like, "I'm saying whatever I want." 2 dicks.
I'm going for it.
Happening. But I'm just gonna warn my mom. I was like, "Mom, this one gets a little raw," and your kid's like, "You don't have to watch everything I do, but if you want, you're welcome."
There's this one scene where my friend Michael Stone, he loves Italian food, and he was like doing this thing with these salamis, and he was talking about he suddenly remembered his friend Dick Tracy, and everyone thought it was so cool that his name was Dick Tracy, but I guess his parents like had a pretty good sense of humor. So yeah, I was talking about salami. My buddy Dick just came to mind, and yeah, your mom's not gonna care about that.
No. She's an adult. She's seen some things. She's fine. I'm never gonna not think about that because anything that I do that's accessible, she watches. Like
I'm famous for adding one thing to a video that makes it like no longer acceptable to the world.
You poisoned the whole show.
I poisoned the whole show.
The episode is poisoned.
It's funny because this is kind of like your show, your pond, and like I have that same feeling. Like, I have mixed feelings about like talking about anything sexual if like my parents are going to watch the show. It's like a self-censoring mechanism. But
Yeah.
I feel more free like if somebody else, like when I'm over at Billy's house playing. Now I'm over at Rich's, and like mom and dad aren't around. We can watch HBO. We can watch Cinemax. We can talk about dicks here and there. I mean, come on, we all got them.
Talk about dicks.
Mom and dad, you made our dicks.
All right.
I mean, okay.
Dialing it down. Okay. All right, sir.
I was warned.
We have boundaries of the frame. We have boundaries in our minds. Let us boundary. How's your not Chianti?
I'm using it like sage to purify the energy
nice
of my little box.
I like the idea of transcendental meditation, like a group of people doing transcendental meditation, but you have to tune them. Yeah, it's like no. You gotta go down. We get down a little. Okay, you up. You know, it'd be like THX.
And then that little mole man's glasses burst.
And mole man presents man getting hit by football. No.
Hans Mole Man.
Hans, okay, so when you did start watching The Simpsons, or when you did get the treat, did you do the voices?
Yeah, I think I tried to. I don't remember ever feeling like, oh, I'm good at Simpsons voices, but I liked. I would always do like the like the Nelson.
Yeah.
My cat's breath smells like cat food. Who's that?
I stapled my ear to my paper. I have 2 owies.
This is Crabapple. I remember the day when I realized that Crabapple was actually crab apple.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa,
bro.
Crabapple, man.
Yeah, man. I was way. Did you watch King of the Hill at all?
I came late to the game on that one, but I did.
Mhm.
I did see. I'm familiar with it.
So I think there were a few more jokes for me just because from Texas, and it had a lot of Texas
Oh, no,
centric
yeah, that's
jokes.
right.
So one joke, and I did not get this at first. Like it took me a couple of seasons before someone had to tell me. I didn't even put it together. The daughter's name, who was voiced by Brittany.
Murphy.
Yep, Brittany Murphy. Her name was Luann Platter. Now, if you're familiar with a chain of restaurants, of cafeteria restaurants, Luby's, I believe it was called, Luby's Cafeteria, they were famous for their Luann platter. It was a plate that they put specific things on that so you didn't go down the line like a cafeteria. They just handed you the Luann platter.
Give me a Luann platter with
Exactly.
extra sauce.
They took the most popular thing on the menu, they gave it a specific name, or the most popular combination of things. They gave it a name, and it was a hit. It was a great marketing technique. But anyway, that was her name, Luann Platter, and like I did not put that together at first because we didn't need that. There was a rival cafeteria. There was the RC Cola of cafeterias called Furs, and it was good. But anytime you go to a cafeteria to eat, it is like mostly 90-year-olds.
It's funny that you said mostly 90-year-olds because twice when you said cafeteria, for some reason I heard cafeteria, and I was like, that'd be a sweet ass name for like a day clinic they specialize in catheters for 90-year-old guys. And
do you need a catheter? Come down to the cafeteria.
Tired of waiting in line at your doctor's office? Now there's a faster way.
Get your cafeteria at the drive-thru. Oh!
Who was the guy from The Simpsons who'd always say, "You may remember me from such other movies"?
Troy McClure.
Yeah, Troy McClure.
Voiced by Phil Hartman. I'm Troy McClure. Right. You may remember me from such holiday specials as Christmas Ape, and Christmas Ape goes to summer camp.
Yeah, there was one with Andre the Giant too. You may remember me from such other celebrity funerals as Andre the Giant. We hardly knew you.
And Shemp Howard. Today we mourn a stooge. And then I loved the bit where they finish and he goes, "That's the end of the services, folks. Come back for we'll have one at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Remember the 10 o'clock, don't bring the kiddies. It gets a little blue."
We should have said that about this show.
It gets a little blue, right? Well, maybe I will. Maybe I'll say. Maybe I'll do a little maybe I'll do a bit where I talk about, hey, just let you know, we go a little raw. Like we recorded the show at midnight. You can watch it whenever you want, but it gets a little raw.
There's some midnight material. There's some midnight and some after midnight material.
We're gonna wait till the midnight hour. That's a good song. I can sing it. I'm collecting songs. I'm playing a song a day, so I'm collecting songs like what I want to play.
I've heard some of your songs. You're doing a good job. I like how coronavirus is bringing out like our desire to really express ourselves to the world.
Yeah, not only desire, but also just like
time.
We need distractions.
We need distractions.
We also need distractions that like really feed our soul. Like I have to do my taxes, and that is certainly a distraction, but it's not one that I'm looking forward to.
I like how you just corona friendly.
You got a corona, yeah.
Right there.
Because I want to touch my face so bad. I want to touch the heck out of my face. I want to give my face a good old fashioned deep massage and just touch the hell out of it. But every time I think about it, I'm like, no.
I do think it's a good habit in general to not touch your face. Like that's just probably a good hygiene practice. And they say like for acne and breakouts and stuff, like don't touch your face. It probably is a good habit to get in the habit of, if that's not redundant.
I thought I was good at it because I had actually been made consciously aware of it when I saw the movie Contagion. Did you ever see Contagion?
Yeah, I nerded out watching that. Just like when this thing was just ramping up, I'm like, well, I got to watch Contagion now.
I only saw it because my buddy was in it, and I was like, oh, this movie is depressing. Very depressing.
It is kind of a depressing movie, and like from a character development point of view, it's kind of not that good, also. But from like a scientific, like this is what might happen in a pandemic. Say, I
Yeah,
thought it was fascinating.
yeah, it was almost like it was almost like a dramatization documentary kind of thing of what could happen.
Hmm. Yeah, right. Like the step by step, and then this happens next. Social order breaks down.
We're gonna rise above. We're gonna rise
Yeah, we will.
above.
No, it is bringing out the best in a lot of people.
Yeah, and I think as we recover from the shock of having like it's we just got really comfortable not being disturbed. And this virus kicked the door in and said, "You're disturbed."
Yeah, you're right. Now, do you mean we're disturbed as individuals, or we were cool being like ignoring the reality of the world around us?
Forgive me, I didn't clarify. I meant it like a metaphor of if you're staying in a hotel room and you're like, "Look,
Do
we're
not
fine in
disturb.
here. We don't need any outside. We just don't need to do anything. We're fine." So do not
Hmm.
disturb sign. And then the
Yeah,
virus just like kicked the door in and said, "Oh, things are you gotta make the bed. We're cleaning up in here. Like you gotta do
yeah.
some things because if you don't, like I'm gonna kill you."
We're gonna make you into the bed.
And we were like, "Yes, we will not. Please, thank you for not killing us. We will stay in our homes and we will
Yeah,
not
like
go outside."
it got our attention. Like very, it's like it
Well,
shook us by the
I
collar.
think we needed something
Yeah,
this big to get our attention
I
because I
think
think
so
we were
too.
so apathetic.
It's like we haven't been paying attention for a long time.
I mean, understandably so, because life's pretty stressful. But I mean, we have
Yeah,
absolutely been guilty of apathy. We have made fun of the people who have said, "Hey, we should not, destroy the planet because the planet, if we break it, it has defense mechanisms." And we were like, "Ha ha, hippies," and now it's like, "Nah, we should listen to y'all. That's my bad."
yeah, so, yeah. That's where we're at now. Yeah, we should probably listen to y'all.
That would have
It's
been
interesting.
that would have been good.
It's funny because actually, part of me, like, I'm not really very religious. I mean, I guess I'm just not. I'm agnostic, um, but open to the possibility of like something greater. And I wish that there was something greater. Like I want there to be. But like I guess my de facto religion now is a sort of like, is this just standard for LA? Actually, just like I believe the universe is like sort of God, and it reclaims you when you die, and then like it's not necessarily, it's not a painful transition at all. It's like you're just like, oh, you just kind of like become
Yeah.
everything, and like you like almost you could feel it happening maybe, and whether or not you can feel it happening, would it even matter? Um, but like I
Oh, we're
like the
getting
idea.
deep.
We're getting deep, right? I like the idea that we could maybe get some kind of like messages from the universe, or from like, or just maybe even it's not even the universe, it might just be like Mother Earth on our planet, like the biosphere of Earth might be essentially our God, and like everything that we know and think is like an expression of this thing expressing itself, like life, the entire sphere of life is God, and therefore like you and I are like little uh flickers of God's fire, for example, or leaves on God's tree. This is like way
Well,
more spiritual sounding than I normally like.
cells. It's. I think what you're describing
Cells in
is
an
is this
organism.
is like cells in a body, right? Like you
Yeah.
identify as one consciousness, but you are made up of billions of things,
Right, right, right,
right? So
right,
if
right,
you're
right.
saying the Earth is one thing, we're one of the things on it. Now, I would say that we've got so much power over the Earth that we started to break it,
Right.
and a
We
broken
started to feel
Earth.
separate from it also.
And it's.
First,
I think
we
it's like
feel
a
separate.
car, right? If you don't take care of your car, bad things will happen, right?
Right. If you're just driving along, yeah, you're not checking, you're not maintaining it, you're not maintaining that bitch.
Yeah, you
You're not
gotta
checking the
you
oil.
gotta you gotta take the time. You gotta clean. You gotta do it right.
And instead of putting oil in this car, we're just taking oil out, taking oil out. This car is not well lubricated anymore because we burned up too much of the oil.
Lubricated,
It's not lubricated. We took out all the
lubricated,
oil. We're burning it up.
lubricated. That's just a
Lubricated.
funny word. It's just a
It is.
funny word.
It's quite a mouthful. Lubricated.
When it comes to most things, I'm sound dependent. So like I like you might say something that's total nonsense that I think is beautiful just because of the way that the words make the melody of how it sounds.
I like that about you, and
Oh, thank
I
you.
think I have a similar trait. I often like break words down into like puns or do weird word game stuff that doesn't really
You
make
cut
any
them up and
sense.
play with them.
You cut them up and play with them, you know,
Cut them
snip
up and
them
play
up
with
in
them.
different ways.
I mean, you
Snip,
mentioned Groucho Marx earlier, right? And it's like I remember,
yeah,
we're gonna that would go against the sanity clause. And he goes, there is no sanity clause, and it's just
there ain't no sanity clause. Yeah,
like
yeah,
he
yeah.
would just use these like masterful word plays, but do it with a melody and a tone that was like, oh, that's nice, like a little flute, like
Yeah, that's true. They're not really like groaners. I guess in a way they are. Sometimes that is kind of like the scene button or whatever. I guess an audience could groan, but yeah, yeah, yeah. I love those.
So when it comes to
I,
comedy, I feel like I see an audience here, and I see like all the energy that's happening on the stage going like this. And every time it dips past this line that represents the audience, that's when they laugh, right? And so you can tell a lot about an audience by how often they laughed, how much they laugh, like compared to
it's
what
like a
you're
sound.
doing
It's
on
like
the
a sound
stage.
wave of your
That's
set.
how I
Like,
see it, yeah.
oh, that's cool.
And
Do
so
you
for
see it like
me,
visually in front of your eyes, or like you
yep.
think about it that way?
Have you ever edited audio
Yeah, I have.
where it's just like the amplitude wave?
Yeah, I
That's
know. I
that's
can
how
picture
that's
it.
how I see it. That's how I see
That's cool.
communication.
I wish I had more of like a visual representation in my mind of. I feel like I'm not a good storyteller because I'm not very aware of like that shape. Like I'm so tangential
For what
and
it's
stuff like
worth,
that.
it can be learned. Like it's not something,
Yeah,
like I don't think I was born with it at all. I think I had to learn it over
maybe
years.
she's born with it.
I mean, maybe some people just have a natural sense of comedy, and that's that. But I mean,
Yeah, it
I
could
think
be.
I think that it's the myth about comedy is the same myth that about music and so many other talents, right? We call them talent, but to a large degree, they are skills. They are things that are honed and learned and refined over time. So, like, if you want to be a better storyteller, you can absolutely be a better storyteller.
Maybe practicing telling stories would be a good place to start.
And for yeah, I mean, yeah, but I mean, I don't. I've been at a few different social gatherings with you, and I feel like I enjoy your stories. Am I misremembered?
Oh, thank you. I don't remember which ones might have been told or not told, but I don't know. I'm like self-conscious about my storytelling. I think maybe that's a more
Oh,
honest way to say
absolutely.
it.
I'm self-conscious about my guitar playing, so I'm making myself do it on camera right now. It's like the more you make
Nice.
yourself do something, the more
Yeah.
desensitized you get to the fear.
Yeah, I think that's what I have to do actually, and I like sometimes refer to it as taking my medicine. I feel like I'm like resistant to because it's like, like maybe I'll just stay, It's like you're putting
Yeah.
yourself out there. Maybe I'll fuck it up. So I guess you
Yeah.
could just call that good old fashioned fear. I feel like I've been
I
letting it
mean,
win, but
well, no, but I mean, it's a good thing because I really think that fear is at the base of almost every problem. Not every problem, but like the majority of the problems that we humans experience. And I think we needed that fear to survive. But
hmm.
I think now that the world is very different, our environment's different, that our brains didn't adapt to the Industrial Revolution yet because it was only 100 something years ago, right? It takes millions of years for big changes to happen. And so we've got this fear that helped us when we were going around hunter gathering, and it just doesn't help us as much now.
Well, it didn't until now. Now I feel like it's a great time for fear. I feel like the corona apocalypse is triggering some of our wonderful, beautiful fears that have kept us alive all those years. I feel like we're going more into like survival
Yeah.
mentality on some degree.
Well,
But I
if
also,
fear is the thing that it takes that make people change, I'll take it.
yeah, no, it is. I was just talking to my buddy about this today. It's just like almost like how you have to be like really hungry. My friend was doing a 3-day fast, which he just
Yeah.
decided to do, and like during this
I mean, it's
He
kind of
added
smart
up-
right now if you want to save food. Like,
yeah, yeah. Some people might be having to do it. So I did this 3-day fast, and he said he was like thinking super clearly and feeling super energetic and super creative, and he was like feeling more alive almost. And I was thinking like, wow, that's interesting. It's like that's the sort of hunger response in our body, and like it's you could feel it on different levels. I mean, hunger is sort of the most straightforward level.
basically, if you're willing to sacrifice the discomfort of being hungry for a while, there may be rewards for you after you've been hungry for a long while, right?
Yeah, I think, but I think I'm trying to make a slightly different point though.
Oh, forgive
I
me.
get that's almost like the marshmallow thing, right? Like the forego
Right,
instant
yeah.
gratification for later. I was thinking about it more like you literally might be more sort of creative and alive in this state where you're
Interesting.
hungrier. It's like the need is there, so your
Okay.
body's like, whoa, my existence like depends on me coming up with solutions to this
Oh,
problem right
interesting. I
now.
haven't heard this
And
yet.
this and the solution is like coming up with entertaining shit if I'm an entertainer or whatever my art form is. I have to like get on it. So it's
Are you
almost
saying
like
hunger like in a metaphorical sense or in a food sense?
I am actually mostly saying it in a metaphorical sense, but my
Okay.
friend did an actual physical thing, and I think, and from what I'm interpreting about what he said, I think he said that he got on a creative, like he saw that he was capable of being one much more focused than he thought he would be able, and having just more willpower than he ever thought possible. Because you think like if you just miss one meal, you start getting super grumpy and like, oh man, I really need to eat something, right? Like it's really
Yeah.
hard. I don't think I've ever even fasted for a day. Well, maybe almost a day recently, but like I've never fasted for like more than 24 hours in my
Mm,
unless I was sick or something. Like it
right.
seems
You never
seems
like did
impossible.
it just to choose it, you know.
Yeah, like so it almost seems like an impossible level of hunger. But he was saying
Did you ever have any surgeries?
well, actually, I did have a minor surgery. Now that I think about it, maybe I did have to do.
Like no food, no liquids after a certain time or something like that?
Yeah, maybe I did do something like that. I don't know. It doesn't stand out in my memory because maybe I was like so focused on like the nervousness of the surgery or whatever. Did you have? Did you have that?
I think I've had 7 procedures where they had to restrict my food and water intake the night before. And
Oh wow.
I dry out so easily. Like I drink
Mm.
water constantly. I pee constantly. I don't love it, but it's just if I don't hydrate a lot, things break down. Like that's just me. And I remember just hating like no water after midnight. Ugh,
Mm.
that was rough.
Synchronized swigging.
All right, brother. On that note, I think I'm gonna call it. This has been super
Yeah.
fun.
This has been fun.
My longest episode yet. And here's the thing. This is so like it doesn't take that much time to make these. So I'm not releasing them like once a week. Like I've released 3 in 5 days. And basically, as long as I'm doing these, I think I'm just gonna continue to churn them out. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna go daily, but like Joe Rogan goes hard.
Yeah.
Like maybe who knows? I don't know. We'll see.
I feel
but
like
I'd love to have
think
you back
do.
on either way.
Yeah, it's really been an honor to be here actually. So thank you so
Thanks,
much.
man. Back at you. Is there anything you want to plug? Anything you're like, hey, check this out?
Only authentic Italian Chianti
And Silver Lake Ramen.
and Silver Lake Ramen. Eat
All right.
there or eat square.
Thanks, bud.
Thank you.